Today we're going to look at NS5. NS5 is looking at positive and negative numbers on a number line and comparing them. So before we get to that, we need to understand what an integer is. An integer is a whole number and its opposite. So whole numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, all of the positive numbers that we know on a number line that do not have decimals or fractions. Then our integers are whole numbers and their opposites. So the integer is the big circle and the whole number is inside. So if the whole number is 1, their integer can also be 1, 0, or -1, and so forth. So integers are positive, negative, and neutral whole numbers. So let's take a look at a few of these words in our everyday life that mean positive and negative. So a few of them, we have deposit and withdrawal. When you go to the bank and you deposit money, you're putting money into your account, so therefore that's a positive. When you withdraw money, you're pulling it out of your account, it's a negative. Up, down. In football, we have gains and losses. If you go towards your end zone, that's a gain. If you go away from your end zone, that's a loss. We also have rise and fall, or sinking in this case, above and below. So all these things mean positive and negatives. We also have positive and negatives even on YouTube channels. We have a thumbs up for positive, a thumbs down for negative. So those things are stuff that we use every day. Now, let's look at this on a number line. Few things before we get started. Everything to the left of 0 on a number line is negative, and everything to the right is positive. Positives are always greater than negative, no matter the number. Positives are always greater than a negative. So let's take a look at our 2 here. If we have a 2 and we are on the positive side, so we have 2, then we have -3. -3 is on the negative side. Let me change that color. We're on the negative side. So -3 is to the left of 2, so 2 is greater than -3. We could also reverse that and say that -3 is less than 2, and that would also be the same thing. So our next one, let me get a different color, and we will use the blue for -2, okay, or pink. We'll try that blue again. There's our -2, and then we have -1. Now the -2 is farther to the left of 0, so it is going to be less than -1. All right, so let me erase these so that doesn't confuse us. Now let's look at -1 and 4. Again, the 1 is negative, so no matter what that positive is, it's going to be less than the negative. Then we have 4 that's a positive, so it's going to be greater than the negative. So -1 is less than 4. All right, so let me erase those. Then we have 2 negatives. Now, with 2 negatives, we have to figure out which one is closer to 0 and which one's farther from 0. If you have -2 and -5, -2 is closer to 0, so that means it is actually bigger than -5. Normally, you would think 5 is bigger than 2. But in this case, when you are talking about a negative, the -5 is farther to the left of 0 than -2. So therefore, -5 is less than -2, or since it's written this way, -2 is greater than -5. Just remember, everything that we use in life has positives and negatives. Make sure you're paying attention and using a little bit of common sense.